Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about some of the inspirations behind my sword suit in my own tarot deck, the Tarot of Passing Showers. I will put a link below in the description box to bring you to the Make Playing Card storefront where this deck is being sold at. This deck would not have been possible without the encouragement of my friends, and I hope that in sharing the inspiration behind each picture, you will be inspired to create a deck of your own if that's indeed what you wanted to do all the time. So for the sword suit, it is my favorite suit, even though the depictions inside there are not usually the most beautiful. But because it is my element, I'm a Libra Sun, and Libra Sun, Mercury, Venus. So I wanted to put a genre which I really love inside, and that will be cyberpunk and steampunk. So this is my favorite anime show of all times, which is Serial Experiments Lain, and I'm just showing it because I just want to show them, and also because I want to show the beautiful artwork that inspires me. So another will be this comic artist Shiro Miwa. I don't think this series has been discontinued, but I love the way he drew his characters, and this is a bit dystopian as well, but there's somebody in here who is the inspiration for my King of Swords. And the steampunk element will be coming from shows that I love, such as this, The Last Exile, and also another show whose designs are from the same person here as well, which is Blue Submarine number 6, a very eco science fiction show that I will always look at to measure, as a yardstick for other works from this kind of genre. So I will skip straight to the cards now. So this is the Ace of Swords. I wanted to draw the full Metatron cube, but I'm not very good at this, so I drew a partial one. But I love Sigurd geometry in the way it's so artistic, and yet it has so much things inside. And we all know that there's a sword piercing through the clouds in some way for the traditional depiction, but I use a hummingbird instead. This is because while I was looking for ideas, I came across the Ghost in the Shell second movie, Innocence, and there's this shot of a hummingbird thing swinging in the ceiling, and I really love Ghost in the Shell Innocence, and so I wanted to pay tribute to that by having the hummingbird here. So I love gothic clothing, as you can probably see from my worn suit. So this design was actually inspired by one of a fashion show that I saw on Instagram, and I wanted to draw moth as well, so I have them here. And we know that in the Rider-Waite-Smith version, RWS version, it's a night sky, and so I have it here as well. For Three of Swords, the image is very classic for the RWS, and I have it somewhere here in the hole in the heart. But I also want to keep to the idea of 3 as being a breakthrough. So there's a key and there's a flying bird, and the person just can get out if he can unlock the cage which he has caged himself in. This is one of my earliest Inktober work to be chosen for this deck, and so you will see that the ink is a bit, the artwork style is a bit different already. But I really love the Four of Swords in the Rider-Waite-Smith, whereby the person is sleeping, and as a Pisces rising, I love to sleep because I get insomnia very often. So I draw him. Some days I feel like him. I want to lay down on the ground and just sleep and don't care about what's happening around me. So and the Five of Swords, I didn't have the idea to draw this. I mean, it's a card that a picture that I draw before I have the idea to do this deck. So, but I really love the mask she's wearing, and of course I have many inspirations for this mask, and so I put her here. I think of her as a kind of a plague nurse, but I also read about some articles whereby plague nurse deliberately spread the disease they are trying to cure so that they can get more business. And so sometimes when I saw the typical meanings for the Five of Swords, I will think of unethical business or unethical actions because of unethical actions, and I thought that it would be a good picture to put in here. Six of Swords is one of my favorite minor arcana card, and for the Thoth deck, it is the reason why I decided to buy the Thoth. And while I was thinking what to draw for this, I thought of the Saturday Buddha. And if you haven't seen what a Saturday Buddha statue looks like, it is of Buddha sitting in meditation, and he's sitting on I believe should be a 7-headed snake. And I remember the story going that while he was Buddha was meditating, it started to rain, and this king of snake decided to shelter him from the rain in order for him to reach enlightenment. And I was really moved by that story, and I decided to put it in here because I saw the RWS version as somewhat similar in idea to this story, whereby the snake is kind of like the ferryman. For the Seven of Swords, this is actually the second drawing that I did for this card, but in both cases I decided to keep the voucher reference. That's because I think that vouchers are very they are creatures who are misunderstood just because they eat dead bodies, corpse and all that. They are not evil creatures, but so in the Seven of Swords, typically we say that this person is trying to trick you. There's some kind of trickery involved, but I also saw interpretations whereby it said that knowing your own is about knowing your own power. So I thought that the voucher kind of speak to that kind of energy, and I decided to draw the voucher. And then I got an idea of people being cast into deep shadows, and by a very strong light source. And I don't know if I depict it well, but yeah, I try to do that. And of course the snake here is about the trickery aspects. So for Eight of Swords, we know that there's always a lady being blindfolded and trapped by her own making. And I decided to keep the same idea here as well, but I have her picking up even though she's trying to hide from the truth. It's just saying that we may try to run, but we cannot hide from the truth. And I put in scissors to cut off the bandages holding her. And this string, I think it's because I was inspired by the kind of accessories for steampunk fashion while I was researching what kind of dresses or clothing can I draw for the people here. Nightmare that's going over and over again. The Knight of Swords. Pretty simple. And then for the Ten of Swords, I know that it's I know of that classic image of somebody who is on the ground with a lot of swords through his back. But to me, 10 is, as we all know, that 10 is also the end of something and leading up to the new beginning. So, like, the journey that is very difficult, and he's looking into the future where there's light source. The pupilless eyes are deliberate. He can feel the light even when he cannot see well. So now I will go on to the court cards. This is a Page of Swords. So in the Rider-Waite-Smith version, I'm always attracted by how the Page of Swords holds the sword very, like, as if it's a very important item to have. And so I think of something like, reverence. So she's praying here, and because it's the sword suit, so I think of origami birds. So there's a lot of origami birds around. And I was thinking about this manga series which I also like, XXX Holic by Clam. So in that comic series, there's a dream seller who is Baku, tapir-like monster in Japanese mythology. And in that manga, this Baku is selling dreams in form of balloons. So I like that dreamy quality of that, that depiction. So I wanted to bring it in as well. When I think of the Knight of Swords, I think of the Thoth version whereby it's all very chaotic, or the Prince of Swords in the Thoth version. So it's very chaotic and it feels a bit constricted and chaotic. So I decided to draw something like that, just that there's more rage involved here, and there's lightning and all that with the aimless swallows. The Queen of Swords, this depiction should be quite obvious to people who have been reading. So I decided to keep it very similar to the RWS version because I love how she holds out her hand. To me, the Queen of Swords is always somebody who wants you to prove your worth, but if you really do meet up to a standard, she's very helpful, a very helpful person. So I wanted to bring that aspect in. And of course, I always think of Hours when I think of this queen, so she's definitely got to be in there. And in the Crystal Tarot, the Queen of Swords is on a crescent-like boat, and I really love crescents. The idea of having the crescent moon to symbolize some kind of sadness in her life, So I decided to put her in here. And so when I was talking about dogs, one of the character inside inspired the costume design for my King of Swords. So the Inktober prompt for this was a murder of crows. So I didn't know that a murder of crows is kind of like a collective term for a group of crows. So I drew crows, but also input the first meaning that I thought of, which is somebody dying, being murdered. So yeah, but I love this king because to me he is somebody who knows how to speak the truth without being too harsh. And so I wanted to put in the aspect by him having his heart, like him holding his heart, to show that he knows the truth, but he also know how to filter it through a hard space to make that truth easier to understand. Thank you for looking at the sword suit with me today. Bye.